Cheers, Battle Community. Happy New Year. It is 2022. Now just remember, in Terminator Part 1, when the robots, the artificial intelligence, started the fake war and launched all the missiles, that was in the year 2028 or 2029. Either way, it's weird. It's weird that James Cameron picked that year. So if that's true, I want to enjoy these next 6 or 7 years. You know what I mean? Cheers. I think the name for the Terminator movie was better for the company that took it all over. Now we know it's going to be Amazon and Metaverse or Facebook. That's like, oh wow, couldn't they give them? Metaverse is starting to sound kind of futuristic, robotic a little bit, but that's still kind of cheesy. The first Terminator is going to look like a fucking character out of the Sim fucking game. Yeah, that's not scary at all. Anyways, totally joking. Happy New Year. It's just weird watching Blade Runner, and now we're past the year Blade Runner took place in. Fucking 2019. And when you used to watch that back in like the 80s when it came out, you're like, fuck. 2019, LA's gonna look like crazy, everything's gonna be stacked and fucking drilling for oil everywhere and fucking flying cars, and now it's just shitty traffic with human turds everywhere. Gosh, I wish it would have looked like Blade Runner. That would have been fucking awesome. What's weird, you love how like aliens, they're in the future, but they got a camcorder the size of a fucking ice chest. Either way, it's funny the things they got right, the things they got wrong. Like, you didn't think camcorders would be a little bit smaller in the future? Like, you somehow predicted the right year that robots are gonna fucking take over, but you couldn't predict that the fucking cameras are gonna be the size of your fucking a pin tip. You can fly around space to other fucking solar systems, and we couldn't shrink down a fucking camera in the movie Aliens. Get that shit together, fucking Ridley Scott. Holy shit. Oh, I love Transformers. That stupid shit with Bumblebee. Oh my gosh, it's all I can. Dude, they had that fucking cube that could take a fucking cell phone and make it turn into a fucking transformer. Couldn't they just use that thing to fix Bumblebee's voice real quick? Come on now. Sorry, I'm just fucking with you guys. Cheers. What's up? All right. But really, Blade Runner though, 2019, we are past Blade Runner, and our cell phones are pretty damn futuristic. That's the one thing that they kind of, you say like you have a little device in your hand that knew everything. You can just ask it questions. That's kind of interesting. I mean, you do have that. If you would have told me, and I'm gonna do a little future rant, and then I'm gonna get into some records. If you would have told me when I was collecting CDs, back in the 90s, I'm not collecting, listening to CDs, that there's eventually going to be a device that's going to be able to stream every song ever recorded. I'll be like, that would be badass, but I don't think they're going to have that. It'll fit in my pocket, and it's going to have not only every song ever made, it's going to have fucking, you can just ask it any question, it's going to know it. Anything off Jeopardy, it's going to fucking know in 1 second. So that's kind of, so in the sense of that, that's pretty cool. We've been able to achieve that, but look what the damn thing, it's like a drug for some people. I've even find myself, I'm like, strung out in the middle of the night, like, what the fuck, this is a little too repetitive here. Put the fucking thing down, holy crap. Now, to be real with you guys, like I always am, I was anti-cell phone when I was it was kind of hard being in relationships, because I remember I having to use the payphone at the college to call my girlfriend at the time, and she's like, "Why don't you just get a cell phone?" And I was like, "No, I'm not getting a cell phone. It's just, I felt like it's an invisible leash that keeps you connected to everyone else's fucking invisible fucking leash." So I just wasn't into it. Then I got this house that did not have. I rented a room at this house that did not have a fucking house phone. I probably could have just got a house phone installed, which I probably should have. But I really didn't know how long I was going to be there for, so I just ended up getting a damn cell phone. And that was my first time diving into the cell phone world, and I can actually remember my friend who's a drummer, a really good friend of mine who's played drums. We've used him for 2 tours. We've had to go out. We couldn't use our main drummer, and he filled in. It was awesome. But he went with me to the place, and I got like the cell phone. And I remember like fucking trying to figure out texting, and he was like laughing at me because I was so behind. But anyways, got the job done. But my point is, fast forward now the smartphone. So if I would try to give any wise advice to myself, which I try to do every day, and I would pass this advice to people I care about, which is you guys who are watching. Put the cell phone down a little bit. Yeah, I know I'm contradicting myself because I'm talking into my cell phone right now, but I even think like when you sleep at night, this is what I'm trying to do more of. Now my cell phone's going to go hard on me because it's hearing me doing this. Turn the cell phone off, I think, at nighttime. Yeah, now that's going to suck if somebody kicks in your front door and you can call 911, whatever. That's a little worrisome. But I just turn the shit off. I feel like, gosh damn, turn off for a few days. I feel like sometimes, it's especially if you have a fucking house phone or you have a computer you can just email or you can still get messages. You know what? Maybe we should all just take a break from the fucking phone for a while. I feel like, but so the futuristic rant I just ran on right now for 6 minutes. If you're still hanging in here with me, right on. Cheers. This is my second cup of coffee. I'm all jazzed up. It's been kind of rainy, foggy weather here in Texas, here in central Texas, which is kind of strange. So, hey, my dog loves her blanket, and she kind of ends up chewing on it for a little while too long. I only have a little bit of coffee left, so let's just get to it. All right, so I showed you guys how I got the Corrosion Conformity, the new album that came out a couple years ago. I went and seen the tour in 2019, freaking killer show. Crowbar opened up, and just for some reason I lagged on getting the new album. There's so much shit coming out. I was like, do you know what I mean? Corrosion Conformity, I have almost a lot of their stuff on CD. I have only one on the album though, so I finally said, you know what? I went and listened to the one on YouTube, and like you already heard it, got that it was killer, so I went and got it. Really enjoyed it. So, and the guy at the store told me, oh, it's cool you got that. He's all, they're actually going to be coming out with some of the old. They're going to reissue some of the other old Corrosion Conformity, like the era, the Pepper Keenan era, more when like 91 and up, when they went more like rock and roll metal instead of being punk and kind of having a thrashy vibe. So what did I get? Blind. They reissued this, and I highly recommend getting this one. They have a red one and a regular one. The black one is $40, and man, okay, now I'm getting sucked into this whole freaking color vinyl thing. It's kind of funny. I thought, damn, what do I want? I know I love traditional black more, but I was like, oh, this would be pretty cool. Like, they've been doing pretty good as far as the sound on a lot of the ones I've been getting. So I'm like right there on the gamble. The red one was $3 cheaper. So I was like, fuck it, it sounds good, and I'm getting it a little cheaper. It's going to be this cool dark red, probably. So I was hoping it is. I get home, the surface noise, there is some surface noise. Now, not as bad as like a pictured vinyl, but hold on, got the female cardinal on the hummingbird feeder. Anyways, all right, so brought this home, but it still sounds good. Not a surface noise like the picture vinyl, but I think there's more surface noise than the black one's going to be. So if you're at the store, sound wise, the black one's going to sound better. So go get that one for $3. Now, if you want the colored one, it's a little more surface noise. But that being said, the drums sound killer on this. They did a good job on the transfer as far as the sound. It is a gatefold thing. I already showed you this again. And this is when they had a singer for a little while, and the singer was Carl Agel. Or Agel. He was a singer for a while, and then I think Dean, the bass player, Mike Dean sang back in the punk days. And they're a crossover band, you know what I mean? But I feel like when people say it's a crossover band, which I just did, you know what I mean? Like, they asked him in an interview, and they basically said, it wasn't so much we were trying to be a crossover band, we just got better at our instruments, and that's evolving as a musician led us to writing this type of music instead of writing the punk stuff, because that's, you know what I mean? They evolved. So, you know what I mean? That's awesome. But this album has a song, White Noise. I'm pretty sure that was the one that was on Beavis and Butthead. These Shrouded Temples, Damn for All Time, Dance of the Dead, Vote with a Bullet. These are killer songs. But what's cool is it's a double LP, and it comes with these. So a couple bonus tracks. All right, help me pull this blanket. Hey. Um, a couple bonus tracks on side C, and then it has from the demo sessions, and then it has some other songs from another bonus song, and then two more from a demo of '91. Dance of the Dead demo version, and it's a good recording. So it's not like, sometimes you get these demo versions, and it's like they recorded it with just a cassette tape recorder. So it's which I still sometimes enjoy hearing those, but sometimes you're like, did I, pay extra money for that crappy ass recording? These are like the demo sessions, like they were recorded in the studio. They just didn't spend a shit ton of time mixing and mastering them. But like side D, which is like my favorite side, I feel like, is Days of Rage, demo 91, Buried from the demo of 88. So that's kind of like that's back when they were closer to the punk thrash style. An instrumental of the fast song instrumental demo from 88, and then slow song, Buried, instrumental. So you get these two instrumentals that are badass. And even like the opening track, the Shrouded Temples, if you think about it, it's almost a progressive rock band, which they said they were big into Deep Purple and Jethro Tull. They said was one of their biggest, really big influence on them, which I would have never. Now that I hear the opening track, I'm like, oh wow, I do hear the Jethro Tull influence a little bit. So either way, and then what's cool, it comes with this cool interview. Let me put this. I have the album still on my turntable right now, but so on the second one, it has an interview, or just has all the band members from this album talking about the recording sessions, and cool picture right here on the insert, and then here's this interview, this picture of the band, and it's just cool. They're talking about how this happened, and so they got this. They're going into a pretty big studio, but the way they picked their producer was there's basically this dude who would come over to their jam pad, and he was a musician himself, but he was like an instrumentalist. He could play all instruments, and basically he would watch them jam, go home, write a song, record all the instruments, use a drum machine, and then like bring it to them. Check it out, I did a song in the style of you guys, like influenced by you, like a song I think you guys could use. And then they're like, dude, this is badass. Like, you're a beast. Even though they already had the full lineup, they couldn't add him to the band, but they asked him, like, hey, have you ever produced an album? And he's like, I haven't. And they ended up using him to produce this album. So basically this, this freaking production nerd instrumentalist guy who would just hang out with them, they ended up using him, and I love that because it was like, oh, should we use Rick Rubin, or which is awesome if you can use people like that, or whoever's the big time producer at the time, but no, they just went with like their neighbor who's like this nerd guy who and I don't know if he's a nerd, but I'm just visioning this guy with like his 8-track, 4-track tape recorder back in the times when not that many people were doing that, but it wasn't that common to see. Now everybody has technology to record, but it talks about the budget was like $100,000, and they spent 2 months recording this album in the studio. And it just shows how a lot of these older albums, it's funny, this album is old now, and I feel like because they put in the blood, sweat, and tears, it wasn't so easy to record, like, so they said I can't remember where the studio was at, but they had to stay in this really cheap, low budget hotel. And they said the shower nozzle in one of the rooms was literally just a fucking hose nozzle, like, or a hose clipped off hanging there. So said, like, okay, that's fucking really low budget. And they said one time Pepper Keenan threw up all over the carpet, and the fucking rats came out from the walls and were eating his puke. I know it's gross, but as I said, they ended up they just got out of the hotel. He said this place was trashed. And so, and then Pepper Keenan had a broken leg and a broken hip, and when you get this, you'll find out why. And so his bandmates would have to push him in a wheelchair. Like, one of the bandmates, he names a certain one, I think it's like the bass player, the drummer, would push him in the wheelchair to the studio. And then the nights, the singer said one night they did so many takes, he felt like his voice was going to bleed. That's kind of what Pepper Keenan ended up doing the vocals on a song, because basically the dude couldn't sing anymore, and they had to finish the song for the deadline to be able to turn it in so it could make it on the album. So it was like, they said they spent 20 hours straight working on this one song, and the engineers collapsed after they got done recording. But there's a lot of these cool stories. I don't want to give them all up. But it's just like, They were young. I mean, they're just really were still finding their selves as a musician, as a songwriter, and then it's got all captivated. And lo and behold, that freaking nerd producer guy, which and I don't think being a nerd is a bad thing. I think it's a fucking dope thing. That he got the sound that would end up being kind of the next sound for a while. And I think there's even a rough track on here that they end up using on Deliverance, the next album. I'm pretty sure it's the next album. So I highly recommend getting this if you're a Corrosion fan and you don't have the old one. You're gonna be stoked. Like I said, sound wise, get the black one. If you don't give a shit so much about the sound, the surface noise, get the red one. It's fucking dope. So that being said, I got that. And I felt like I got this album a while back last year, so it's gonna have to go on the top. I'm gonna do an album like top albums of 2021. Maybe do 21 albums. I've seen a few people do that, so totally being original there. This album right here, and this is kind of what got me starting into Japanese jazz. But I got this first, which is not Japanese jazz; it's Japanese ambient, and I just kept seeing this album in the store, up on the little display they have on some of the cool albums that are a little bit more rare. And so I listened to it on YouTube just out of curiosity. And this is what I usually do. An album sparks my interest just by the looks of it. And I've always been really cool. I think we've all been pretty, like, you have that instinct to where, like, even if it's just by looks, let's check it out. You can find out if you're going to enjoy it or not. And so ended up really enjoying it. Just like, wow, it reminds me of, all right, hold on, this dog is out eating the blanket. Oh, and she just, and she swallowed a chunk of the blanket. Alrighty, well, now she's going to poop out a chunk of the blanket. Alright, so I really fell in love with it. It fit the time too around the way I was feeling and how it was around wintertime when I got it. Of last year was when that snow all hit. We had a snow day in like January, so I was just like, which is rare in Texas, in central Texas at least. Near the Panhandle, you get some snow, but it's more common at least. So I'm just looking out my fucking window and it's just all fucking covered in just like a good amount of snow. All the trees. I just was being here for as long as I've been here now, and I was just like, whoa, it looked beautiful. I mean, it looked awesome, amazing, epic, astounding, all those cool words. So, and it felt like Hiroshi Yoshimura, that album Green, and the postcards, and his stuff just fit perfectly for seeing the snow. It's really cool. So anyways, but the album in general is awesome, and like it reminds me kind of like a Lyle Mays, Pat Metheny vibe. Even though there is no drums, there's no guitar, it's just a keyboard. And he's a certain type of keyboard he's using. I can't remember the name, but it came on this green. It's called Crystal Green. I mean, it's a really, and again, I swear, so color vinyl thing. I think they're gonna have to calm it down after a while because it's almost you're gonna have. I mean, who knows? It's a cool thing if you have the option. But I think they should always do both, just in case. But the surface noise is like this thing sounds really really good. So it's RTI pressed it. It was the Hiroshi Yoshimura estate was approved this whole thing. It comes with some of his notes that he kept while recording this album, and original copies of this, it's like $600 to $1,000, like crazy. Like if you see this album at a garage sale or some shit, and they're like, no, just I'll give you like 50 cents, $1, 5, 10. I don't know more than that. If you get this, you'll be stoked on the original one because that's really rare. But more importantly, it sounds freaking awesome. And so, where am I going with this? Well, this album is rare, and I feel like I got the Stone Temple Pilots one. I was able to get 2 copies at Walmart of Core, but I had already ordered one. So I ended up with 3 copies. I ended up getting rid of a copy, and I'm almost kind of like regretting that, but it's all good. My collecting side is like, oh, you probably should have kept it for longer. It's all good. Let it go out there. Hopefully someone else is enjoying it because I was just letting it sit on the shelf there. So if it's a real album I really love, I do like to have multiple copies. At least two. I mean, I got some. I mean, I think I got 4 of Off Ramp, Pat Metheny. I got 7 Pink Floyd Animals. I'm down to have multiple copies. Now, not with everything, just certain albums. Especially if you just run across another copy. Like, I just got 2 permanent waves now because I got 3 permanent waves now by Rush because I had a copy I got a long time ago for like $4, $5, something a really good deal back in the day because when vinyl was a little crazy pricey, and then I found another copy for like $8 or something. Anyway, I got it for a good deal, so you had to swoop it up. Like you might as well. It's nice to have a couple copies, and sometimes who knows, gift one to another friend or hang on to for a while and trade in for something else. Anyways, they have this Green, another copy of Green, just sitting there for a while, and I think for about 4 months now I've been debating like you should probably go swoop that thing up, and they had another copy of Alice in Chains Facelift, and I was gonna go swoop that up. Somebody beat me to that one, but I was like, you should probably get a backup of that. That's gonna be worth a little extra here, and I was right. It's already going on eBay for a little bit more than definitely more than the cover price it came out on. So I went to the store, and you guys like, Ty, you just talked for 10 minutes to tell us that you bought 2 copies of Green. Yes, I did. I swooped up the other copy of Green. I just felt like, you know what, I want to have 2 copies of this damn album. This is another one of that Crystal Green. It sounds freaking killer. Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to leave this one nice and sealed for a while. I mean, just have a nice sealed copy of Green. It's a killer album. And it does have the guy from the In-Groovy, what does he call it? Something. It does have the thick cardboard jacket on it. And he has a term for that. And I can't remember. But I had a little light, a filming light, a small one, and a charger. I kind of just got it as a gift. And it doesn't hold for too long. I outlasted what the charging power is on it. So if my mug looks now worse than it did before, I apologize. No, but in all realness, this is a killer album, and I'm pretty sure you can still get this. I don't know if you can get the Crystal Green one, but you might. Yeah, I'm sure you can still get the one with the Crystal Green. But there's a few different colors they have this album. But even if you get it, whatever you can get, or if you can get your hands on an original copy, message me and you can send it to me. But no, it's a great album. And like I said, it's Japanese ambient keyboard music, and he did the recording himself. I'm pretty sure. Not this one. This one actually went in the studio, but he was like into performance art. He seems like he was a really interesting person. Also, there's a couple clips of him on YouTube doing the performance art, and it's kind of like there's not that much. Like as an interview, there might be interviews of him. I couldn't find too much stuff. You guys probably better find shit than I am. But so to me, he's kind of like mysterious in a weird sense, and I always kind of like that, where you don't know that much about the artist itself. You know, leave it to your imagination. So that's my rant for the day. There's a really good vinyl tag going around right now, and I'm going to participate in it. It's Rob Walker did one for 2022, and it's like 21 questions or something like that. I watch a few of the videos. I watch his. He's super cool. He's usually chiming in on the Rachel live stream, and he's kind of known for his turd emojis. I'm pretty sure, but go check out his channel. Go like and subscribe to his channel. Go throw some comments. He's one of those people who's really interactive. If you throw a comment on his channel, he's gonna give you if it's a interesting comment, like some substance here, like he's gonna give you back a good one, because he's definitely passionate about the music, and I love that. And there's so many. I mean, we're all different and we're all the same, and that's what I love about humans and art and all that good stuff. So go check out his channel. If you have a vinyl channel, maybe participate in this one. I was gonna do that video first, but I want to make sure I write down go through it. It's it's a long list, and I've been sometimes on the contest I've been lagging. I have participated in some. Sometimes they feel like homework, and it's not the person itself. That's me, where I'm like, oh, I'm going to do it. And then it's past the deadline, and I didn't do it because I'm freaking just too busy sometimes. But this vinyl tag, it's not a deadline on it, but I want to do that as my next video. So, right on, guys. Happy New Year. Stay positive. Play vinyl and all that good stuff, and I'll see you next time.